Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to learn how to cut brownies today. So when getting the brownies, the first thing you need to do is get them out of the walk-in freezer. At both stores they should be top left, but just in case somebody has mislabeled it, you always want to look to see that it says a B, and you're always looking for the oldest date, which should be on top. Okay, if there is nothing on there, and you're like, I don't know if it's brownies or chocolate cake, the best way to do it is put it in your hand. The brownies are a lot heavier, they're more dense, they are thicker, so they are heavier than the chocolate cake. So if you pick it up, you're like, it doesn't seem very heavy, it's most likely chocolate cake. The first thing we're going to do, I've washed my hands already. Always wash our hands. We're going to take the wrapper off the top. So you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the lines on the box here. And if you look on the other side, we have the lines on the box there. We're going to be using those lines. If we use those lines appropriately, we will get 6 cuts one way, 9 cuts the other way, giving us a total of 54. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to go straight, and I'm going to mark my cuts. It doesn't take a ridiculous amount of time. Okay, the last thing you want are a bunch of oddly cut brownies. This is not going to make them exactly the same size, but this is certainly going to be better. All right, so once I've made my marks, I don't need to worry about those lines anymore, so that allows me to open it up. Okay, it doesn't matter which way I go. Today I'll go the long way. Okay, as you can see here, this is going to take a little while, but they're still cold in the center. The top is where it was more cool, but if I would have waited too long, and you wait too long and you get a bunch of brownie on your cutter, it's probably in your best interest to put those back in the freezer for a while. So I've finished cutting them all. If you look here, they're not all exactly the same size. Some are slightly bigger than others, but they're pretty close. This again, when you're using these on the stone, the smaller ones, that would be for a like it size, and the larger ones would be for more for a gotta have it. The ones in the middle, which most of them are for the love it. This is of course if you can do the differentiation, but you can see they're not all going to be perfect. The other thing here is, depending on which store you're at, each have a little bit different protocols as to where the brownies go. Here at Boynton, we're going to be putting them on trays like this. So before I put them on a tray, I do need to grab some parchment paper. I'm going to place them on there. Now there is a paper at the very bottom. Keep that in mind. Using the scraper is not going to make that paper come off, but just remember that it's there. So now I've taken all the brownies off. Again, paper's left behind. Now with the brownies, again, depending on your store, I'm going to wrap them up for use later today. I'm going to use the saran wrap, and depending if anybody did their job appropriately, saran wrap should have a slicer on there, but currently it does not because people don't know how to use it, but this works. I'm going to go one way, and I'm going to turn and go the other to wrap them up. These will most likely get used today, but just like with everything else in the store, I do want to date them. I can get a sticky note, I can get a Sharpie, and just put a date on there so I know when I cut them, because when corporate comes in to evaluate, if they don't see a date on the brownies, they will mark us off. I'm going to put a little date on them here. 5/31 is today. So we use the FIFO. Anything in the store. FIFO means first in, first out. Meaning the oldest date is the first one out because it was the first one I put in. Alright, so now you know how to cut brownies. As always, if there's ever any questions, call or text me, or somebody else that you know is an expert at cutting brownies.